Good morning. Have you or anyone you know been guilty of saying, I can't forgive them? They have spoken bad about me and disrespected me. They have cut me off while I was driving. They have hit me, they've lied to me, and I just can't forgive them. When I hear people making these statements about not being able to forgive, I think about the suffering of Jesus. This morning, before we partake of the Lord's Supper, I'd like to look at Jesus' suffering. Jesus' suffering were more than just physical. He experienced a full range of human suffering to the greatest extent. He was betrayed. Judas, would you betray the Son of the Man with a kiss? And that's found in Luke 22:48. He was taken captive. Then they came up and laid hands on Jesus and seized him. That's Matthew 26, verse 50. He was deserted. Then all the disciples left him and fled. And that's Matthew 26:56. He was falsely accused by those in the crowd. Now the chief priest and the whole council were seeking false testimony against Jesus, that they might put him to death. But they found none, though many false witnesses came forward. That's Matthew 26, verse 60. He was spat upon, and beat up. And when they spit in his face and struck him, and some of them slapped him, saying, Prophesy to us, you Christ. Who is it that struck you? That's Matthew 26, verse 67 through 68. He was falsely accused by those in authority. But when he was accused by the chief priests and elders, he gave no answer. Matthew 27, verse 12. He was rejected. The governor again said to them, Which of the two do you want me to release to you? And they said, Barabbas. Pilate said to them, Then what shall I do with Jesus, who is called the Christ? And they said, Let him be crucified. And that's Matthew 27, verses 21 through 22. He was scourged. Then he released for them Barabbas, and having scourged Jesus, delivered him to be crucified. Matthew 27, 26. He was mocked, and kneeling down before him, they mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews! And they spit on him and took the reed and struck him on the head. Matthew 27, verse 29 through 30. He was ridiculed, and those who passed by derided him, wagging their heads. Matthew 27 through 30. And he did this all willingly. And going a little further, he fell on his face and prayed, saying, My Father, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. Matthew 26:39. And for our salvation, he bore our sins in his body on the tree, that we might die to sin and live to righteousness. By his wounds we have been healed. 1 Peter 2, verse 24. So remember, while going through these sufferings, Jesus' prayer, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And that's found in Luke 23:34. So now we'll partake of the Lord's Supper.